historic St. Agnes Cemetery was founded in 1867, 2 years after the end of the Civil War. It is one of the finest examples of the rural cemetery movement and among the prettiest Catholic cemeteries in the country. Located in Menands, New York, in the beautiful Hudson River Valley, St. Agnes Cemetery is the final resting place for many thousands of Catholics and people of faith from all walks of life. Notable political figures, wealthy entrepreneurs, military service men and women from the Civil War to the most recent conflicts abroad, orphans, immigrants, and unknowns all rest eternally in sacred ground. St. Agnes Cemetery and all Catholic cemeteries exist because of our belief in the resurrection of the body in some new shape or form at the end of time. Burial of the dead has always been recognized as a religious rite and a corporal work of mercy. This is a peaceful place to visit, and all are welcome to walk or drive our winding roads and rolling hills with gorgeous views of distant cities and mountains. I'm Kelly Grimaldi, historian for Albany Diocesan Cemeteries and creator of Graveside Chats Volume 2, sponsored by Humanities of New York. Our chat series features stories about people buried in the cemetery. Each story is related to a theme in history and directly relates to the time in history during which the decedents were alive. In short, the chats serve to tell their stories in their time. We bring back the dead, so to speak. I hope you will enjoy becoming acquainted with some of the dead buried in St. Agnes Cemetery, as they are represented by independent actors and those affiliated with Albany Civic Theater. Graveside Chats is a fun way to get a little lesson in history.
Samuel Severino's name should not be on page 45 of an interment book dated 1928, located at St. Agnes Cemetery's archives. Based on the average lifespan of a male, he should have died sometime in the 1990s or early 2000s. A bad decision and a split-second action cost him his life. On October 31st, 1928, Sammy left his house after having a physical altercation with his father. His cousin Lena, now nearly 100 years old, recalls the day that was to be Sammy's last.
I remember Sammy very well. He was a favorite cousin. He was a mischievous kid, always getting into some kind of trouble. Oh, he loved spiders and snakes. And he used to catch them and chase us girls all around. We screamed our lungs out. He used to get a big kick out of teasing us. But he was a good boy at the same time. It's a much different time now. Sometimes I think, as hard as they were, the good old days were better times. Sammy, you should have lived. You should have died a short while ago. You should have been like me, an old poop pushing 100. You only had 13 years. That's all. Just a boy full of life 1 minute. Next minute, he's gone. I was there when it happened. I saw you dead. I remember the funeral. It was awful. Aunt Nicoletta was inconsolable. Uncle Peter never shed a tear. At least not in front of us. I remember. It was a fairly warm day for the last day of October. My brother Joseph and I went to our favorite pond to catch some fish.
Come on, Joe. You ain't caught nothing in over an hour. It's my turn.
Beat it, Lena. Go pick some flowers or something girly and leave the fishing to me.
Sammy!
What are you doing out here, Squirt? Following your brother while he's trying to catch fish?
Catching fish? Ha! We'd all starve waiting for Joe to catch anything. Sammy, your eye. It's all pink and purpley. Wait, it's Uncle Peter again, isn't it? He did that to you. Why is he so mean, Sammy? Why does he do that?
Nah, Squirt, he didn't do it. I was wrestling with one of our piglets the other day, and Mama Pig came over and slapped me right in the eye with her big slimy snout. Knocked me clear over the pig trough. I'm okay, though.
You're just protecting your paws all. I know. Just don't know why I gotta always make up stories. Mama says he's got a mean streak. We all know it.
Papa always gets fired up this time of year. He can't help it. We got a plan for this cold season. Papa and Mama are scared that we won't have enough food and coal for the winter. They have angry words. I got in the middle is all. He works a lot and is tired. Got a short fuse is all. He'll cool off. That's why I left the house for a while. Besides, I haven't seen you in a while. Where will you see this big spider I got in this box here?
Geez, Sammy, that's a nasty shiner you got. Maybe you should stay at our house tonight. Mama won't mind. You're her favorite. She's got a big pot of stew cooking for supper. Say you'll come over.
Thanks, Joe, but I gotta get back to the house to help Mama with the evening fires. She can't be lifting coal buckets in her condition.
Another kid? Oh man. Well, it'll be another farmhand.
Yep. Hey, Lena, you want to learn how to fish from someone who actually knows how to catch them? Come over to my house after church on Sunday, and I'll show you. Gotta run now. Gotta get home before it's dark.
How you gonna do that, Sammy? It's a 5-mile walk. You ain't never gonna make it home before dark.
I'm gonna ride the trolley, real easy.
Wow! You got a nickel to ride the trolley, Sammy? You must be rich!
Don't need a nickel. I just go down, I'll take you down to the tracks and I'll show you. I just jump on the back and the driver don't even see me. I get a free ride all the way to stop 5.
Someone fetch Dr. Noonan! Hurry! This boy is hurt real bad!
I gotta go tell Ma and Pa that Sammy is gone.
No! He ain't dead, Joe! He ain't dead! No!
Rest in peace, Sammy. I never forgot you. And I never will. I'll be seeing you soon, I suppose. You better not still have that big spider.
Grace Reevy was born in 1877 and lived in an impressive Victorian home on Van Skyke Island all her life until she died at the age of 81. Her father was an undertaker and ran the Reevy Funeral Home until his death in 1905. Grace and her brother John ran the business until John's death in 1919. Grace then hired a manager to see to the day-to-day operations of the funeral home, but remained active in the business for more than 40 years. It would not be her sole means of support, however. Grace ignored limitations put on women in the early 20th century and pursued a much different career path.
In Mayor's office. This is Mayor Foley. Yes, 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 Henry. Go ahead and laugh at my pain. I'm answering my own phone. Ha, ha, ha. I've been out as secretary 2 weeks now, ever since Mildred ran off to get married. I have an ad out for her replacement, and I'm expecting a candidate any minute. And I will not be hiring another young girl. Henry, can you hold the line a minute? Well, hello. You look sharp of wit and with a kindly face. You may be just the secretary I need. And we can talk about the details when I'm finished with this telephone conversation. But your first task will be to get me a cup of coffee. Henry, my situation might just have improved. Now, where were we? I understand your frustration, and I share it, Henry. The city controller's office hasn't been fully staffed since the Spanish influenza epidemic of 1918 last year. I've got a real mess on my hands. I'll get you the numbers you need soon. Very, very soon. Goodbye. Good heavens! Can't you even
Grace
pour
Reevy,
a cup of
Mr. Mayor.
coffee?
And pouring coffee is not what I had in mind for my job duties. Now, I understand you're in a bit of a pickle having no secretary to keep you straight, but I do not wish to be your secretary. The city comptroller's position has been vacant for some time now. It is that position I wish to talk with you about today.
City controller?
Yes.
Whatever does a woman know about finances, much less a city's finance? Have you any business experience whatsoever? No, there has never in the history of New York State been a woman appointed to public office. It's unseemly. There is no place for women in politics or public service.
Did you not catch my name as you were mopping up coffee? It's Grace Reevy of Reevy's Funeral Home, and I've been running my family's business ever since
since your father died about 15 years ago. Such a good man he was.
Thank you.
And now I hear your brother John suddenly passed. Well, please accept my condolences and my sincere apology.
Thank you.
Your father would have been very proud of the way you took over the family business and ran it so well all these years. Indeed, you do have business experience, and I can appreciate your ambition. Are you selling the funeral home?
No, I'm merely contracting out the day-to-day operations. I'll keep my hand in it. Mr. Mayor, I am an excellent businesswoman. I'm good with the books. I'm detailed and accurate. I can hold my own against men as well. I would do a good job for the city of Cohoes and for you if you could simply overlook the fact that I'm a woman. May I remind you, sir, that the amendment to the United States Constitution granting women the right to vote will be ratified very soon. We will vote in the next election. You would do well to pay attention to that population of voters. By appointing the first female to a public office, I think would serve you well.
Well, I do enjoy serving this city, and I suppose you're correct in what you say about soliciting the female vote. You've convinced me, Miss Reevy. I will prepare the paperwork to have you appointed the first female city controller ever.
When Grace entered the workforce in January of 1919 as a public servant, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution giving women the right to vote had not yet been ratified. In the state of New York, one can accredit Miss Reevy with having been the first woman to crack the glass ceiling. That said, Credit must be given to Cohoes Mayor Michael J. Foley for giving her the unprecedented opportunity to start what would be a lifetime career in public service. Grace made her way through the ranks serving as Deputy Secretary under Franklin Roosevelt in his first term as Governor of New York, where she partnered with Eleanor Roosevelt, campaigning together for women's rights and leadership roles as public servants. In 1937, Grace was appointed to the New York State Civil Service Commission, where she served as president until her retirement in 1943. She left a legacy in her role as a woman in public service. Hers was a productive life, well lived. Rest in peace, Miss Reevey.
Yoo-hoo! Is anyone home?
Robert Vignola, Hollywood film director extraordinaire. What a lovely surprise. What brings you to my humble abode? Have you been trying to see how the other half lives?
Oh, Mary, it is so good to see you again. You look just as you did in 1905 in that off-Broadway production, Alice Sit by the Fire. Wasn't Ethel Barrymore the lead? Oh, how I adored her. She didn't give me the time of day. Oh, but those Barrymores were a strange bunch anyway. I, for one, am very anxious to meet that adorable Drew Barrymore. Of course, I hope she lives a long and prosperous life on Earth before that. Oh, the early days of the stage. Live and unfiltered on the stage, those were the days. But subject to very terrible conditions. No air conditioning, little heat in the winter, poor lighting, terrible pay. Cast members with the whiskey breath, jealous husbands, jealous wives.
I loved it all. And yes, I was in 2 or 3 plays with Ethel Barrymore.